Welcome once again to Lehto's Law. Here's Steve Lehto.
What's funny is when there's a story in the news that seems very unusual, but when it hits the news, other people come out and go, oh, that happened to me. It's happening in California. ABC7news.com, Melanie Woodrow writes, story for KGO, and Jeffrey sent it to me. Bay Area viewers question UPS explanation for lost items now for sale online. There are more questions from Bay Area residents about UPS's shipping practices and what happens to lost things. Last month, they told you about a Hayward man who claimed that UPS lost a unique guitar he had purchased, then gave him a bunch of different explanations which didn't all coincide with each other, including that it was destroyed in wildfires, that it had fallen off a truck, or that it had gotten lost. The guitar ultimately appeared intact for resale online, and apparently the guy went out and bought it back, got his guitar back. Now, two other viewers say UPS told them their one-of-a-kind items they were shipping were also lost when shipping containers got discarded, and at least one of those items now is for sale on eBay. A Bay Area bike builder has been working on a 70s-style show bike for a man who is in Ohio. That man says, I play with them, then I sell them. So his newest toy was supposed to have a supercharger. A supercharger theoretically doubles the horsepower of the motorcycle, he said. So he convinced a man in New Jersey to sell it to him. He explained he's building a bike for a bike show, and I had sold some superchargers that were put on bikes for that bike show previously, so that's how we struck a deal, the man says. So when that man shipped it with UPS, fully insured, to the bike builder, apparently talking about the supercharger, it never arrived. Number one, just because the rarity of the supercharger, my heart sank. So the other guy says, I think somebody stole it. Months later, one of these guys spotted the supercharger for sale on eBay. He said it's definitely the same one, and he sent TV station pictures showing similar markings between the one he shipped and the one now for sale. Too many coincidences, he said. So he reached out to the eBay seller who told him, we buy lost freight from shipping companies. So somehow the shipping company had called it lost freight, and this guy bought it. So the man says, so maybe the box is torn open, missing some parts, and UPS sells them off. I don't know at this point. So he filed a police report, but the seller told him the police had not contacted him yet. So a UPS spokesperson would not answer questions of TV stations specifically about these cases. However, they issued a statement that says we're committed to delivering excellent service. Issues with shipments are uncommon, but when they happen, we work with our customers to resolve them. Last month, TV station covered the story of the lost guitar shipped via UPS. UPS said UPS told the shipper the shipment burned in a California wildfire, fell off a truck, fell off a train, and was in a package damaged beyond repair, and the contents were destroyed and discarded. Now, this sounds like an itchy and scratchy cartoon because it was burned in a wildfire, fell off a truck, fell off a train, package was damaged, contents were destroyed. I mean, I'm assuming that not all of these things could happen to the same guitar. But then the guitar turned up for sale on a Guitar Center website. So the guy who was looking for this said, I just had an intuition the guitar was stolen, that it was not damaged or destroyed. So the guy with the motorcycle parts saw the story. So that's when I kind of put two and two together that this was in the same area. And that's when I reached out to you. Now, another person who's having a problem here shipped a one-of-a-kind painting and reached out to the TV station and said that she'd moved from Chicago to the Bay Area. And on a trip back to Chicago in February, I prepared it and shipped it, and it never arrived, referring to a painting. It's artwork. It's irreplaceable. It's not something that exists in any other form. Now, she says she did not insure the shipment, saying she had never had an issue with UPS previously. She received the same explanation as the guy shipping the supercharger. All merchandise is missing and the carton has been discarded, she was told. She said, I don't think it could disappear. It's not like it was a couple of loose bolts at the bottom of a box. I don't know how you lose something that's 5 feet by 7 feet big. So she wonders if there's not something happening, a coordination maybe of several people involved in this. So now her painting has not popped up anywhere yet, but she's wondering. So the TV station points out that's 3 rare shipments lost. 2 of the items have later appeared for sale online, And the same explanation from the UPS, where there are just things just disappearing when being shipped. So the shipper of the supercharger says in order to insure it for full value, UPS had to pack it up and the shipper had to fill out a form declaring what was in it and listing all of the components. And I can tell you, I've actually done that before, where I walked into a UPS place because I was working with somebody who had an account there. And I brought in a pile of stuff and said, here you go. You guys box it. You guys take care of it. Insure it. Ship it. And it got there. It got there. And I haven't had many problems with UPS, but I've had a couple. And I can tell you that there was a time when I ordered something that was really, really small. Really small. And it would have come in a very small package. And it just never got here. And so I contacted the seller. And they said, oh, well, we'll ship you another one. And presumably they ate it. And so anyway, about a month or two later, my neighbor comes over and knocks on my door. And I say, what's going on? She goes, I found this in my bushes. And it was a plastic envelope that was containing the thing that was lost earlier. And it was, now, my neighbor found it about 100 yards from my house. And so I don't know how it got there because it never showed as being delivered. Because if it had showed as being delivered, I could see how maybe if it got put on my porch, it might have blown away and wound up next door as a possibility. I can see that. But it never showed as being delivered. It showed as being in transit. So what I think happened, honestly, is I think that a UPS truck driver pulled up someplace else and it just fell out of the truck. And then it got blown around by the wind for a while and wound up in my neighbor's bushes. But the way my house was and the way their house was, I don't think it got delivered to my house and blew next door. I think it either got delivered next door and they just didn't see it, or it fell off the truck, as they say. But the woman who ships a painting, that's 5x7 or whatever she said, it was huge. Number one, it cost, 7 feet. That would cost a fortune to ship. And how do you lose something that big? The weird thing is that if something gets damaged, and let's just go over this logistically here. So you have a big thing, 5x7 by whatever, and it gets shipped. And it's going through all these different points. It's on a truck. It's taken off a truck. It's moving through a warehouse or distribution center. This gigantic thing. And let's suppose that somebody accidentally puts a forklift fork right through it. And you realize you just destroyed a painting. Okay. Do you literally just throw it away and go, well, we lost one? Why don't they scan it and go, bad news, we damaged it? And couldn't they ship the damaged thing? Or do they say, well, now it's been harmed, we can't do that with the integrity of the package harmed? But either way, couldn't they scan it and record where their damage occurred? Now, I understand there are things that fall off trucks, obviously, or trains, or whatever, burned up in the fire. I understand there's things like that. But the mere fact that something just doesn't show up, and they say, oh, well, we lost it. And then it winds up on eBay, owned by somebody else, makes you wonder. And I remember years ago seeing an article on, I believe it was Jalopnik, about a guy who'd ordered some engine parts that were extremely unusual. And they showed up on eBay, and it turns out that they'd gotten lost and then sold, presumably. And so you'd think, if nothing else, that there should be some correlation between the list of things they sold at auction that somebody could go through and go, just if nothing else, for closure, let me know what happened to my stuff. Because I've heard stories of people who said, I had something, I shipped it, it disappeared. I have no idea whatever became of it. No idea. So it's a crazy story. So add to the guitar story, the guy with the motorcycle supercharger. UPS lost it, but if you wanted to, he could buy it off eBay. So Jeffrey, thanks for sending that from abc7news.com. KGO, of course, is a TV station. Melanie Woodrow wrote it. Bay Area viewers question UPS explanation for lost items now for sale online. Questions or comments, put them below. Let's talk to you later. Bye-bye.
Thank you for watching Lehto's Law.
You simply have to put one foot in front of the other and keep going. Put blinders on and plow right ahead.